Speaker, building Australia's future also means building on the strength of our regions. That's why we're securing banking services in country towns and flights in the bush. It's also why we're investing up to $3 billion in additional equity to complete the rollout of the national broadband network. Infrastructure like the NBN is essential for communities and students and businesses and to the productivity of our nation. And so are the roads and railways connecting our regions to our cities and supporting economic growth. This budget provides $17.1 billion over 10 years for these projects, including $7.2 billion to upgrade the Bruce Highway in Queensland, the biggest ever investment in the Bruce. $2.3 billion for Western Sydney, with $1 billion of that for the rail network alone. And $2 billion towards transforming Sunshine Station, taking our Melbourne Airport rail investments to $7 billion. In total, we're investing more than $120 billion in infrastructure in every state and territory over the decade, improving the productivity, resilience, livability and sustainability of our cities, regions and communities, accompanied by $262 million to preserve and conserve our natural land and our ocean assets. Speaker, in these uncertain times, economic security and national security are increasingly intertwined. We're supporting stability and prosperity in our region by helping to shore up banking services in the Pacific. We've invested an extra $50 billion in defence by the mid-2030s to help keep Australians safe. It means defence funding will grow beyond 2.3% of GDP by the early 2030s. And we're investing $45 million in our initial response to the independent intelligence review. So, Mr Speaker, in a tight budget, we've made room to boost our defences, strengthen Medicare, help people doing it tough, build more homes and invest in the future. We've done all of this at the same time as we've overseen the biggest ever fiscal improvement in a single term of government. Tonight's budget is $207 billion better than we inherited. It's in better shape in every year over the forward estimates than it was 3 years ago. In our first 2 years, we posted the first back-to-back surpluses in nearly 2 decades. Our deficit this year has almost halved since we came to office. Next year's deficit is $42 billion, lower than what was forecast at the last election and lower than at the mid-year update. Gross debt will hit $940 billion this financial year, $177 billion lower than what we inherited. This means we'll avoid around $60 billion in interest costs over the decade. These are some of the dividends of our responsible economic management, achieved through a combination of spending restraint, finding savings and banking revenue upgrades. Real payments growth is forecast to average 1.7% to 28-29, less than half of the average under our predecessors. We've found around $94 billion of savings since coming to government, including another $2 billion in this budget. In this term, we've banked around 70% of tax receipt upgrades, and we've made structural improvements to the budget across the NDIS, aged care and interest costs as well. And Speaker, we're repairing the budget without ignoring our responsibility to build a stronger, fairer and more inclusive society, where more Australians have the chance to contribute and share in our economic success. We're providing $1.3 billion for closing the gap and economic self-determination for First Nations Australians, with investments in remote community services, opportunities for business and support for home ownership. Tonight's budget also includes $424 million for Australians with a disability and more funding for aged care reform. There's more money to support veterans and build on the progress that we have made eliminating that backlog of claims. And we're providing help to Australians and communities affected by natural disasters, provisioning another $1.2 billion to properly fund recovery from ex-tropical cyclone Alfred, as part of $13.5 billion in natural disaster funding for further north and right around the country. So, Mr Speaker, it's even more important and even more remarkable that Australia's economy is turning the corner, when we know that the global economy is taking a turn for the worse. Our progress and our prospects validate and vindicate the decisions and the sacrifices that we've made together as Australians to bring inflation and debt down, to get wages and growth up, and to keep unemployment low. And what really matters is that we build on this platform, how we help finish the fight against inflation, how we keep rebuilding living standards, and how we maximise our national advantages to benefit Middle Australia. The plan at the core of this budget is about more than putting the worst behind us. It's about seizing the best of what's ahead of us, to build a stronger economy together and to build a future that we can all be proud of. And that's why I commend this bill and this budget to the House.